Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most hotly debated, emotionally charged topics in the entire parenting universe. Seriously, if you've got a kid, are expecting one, or just find family dynamics fascinating, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're tackling the co-sleeping versus independent sleep debate, using the highly practical principles of Dr. Komorowski. We're going to cut right through all the noise, drop the judgment, and look at what actually builds a healthy, functioning family. So let's just get right to it and ask the million-dollar question. Where should a child actually sleep? Now, at first glance, you might think, well, that's easy. But if you spent even 5 minutes on a parenting forum, you know it absolutely isn't. Some parents swear by co-sleeping, while others insist on separate beds from day one. But here's the thing. The real question we're answering in this explainer isn't if co-sleeping is inherently good or bad. It's about what works best for the entire family. Because raising a kid, it's not just about the kid. It's about the parents too, and honestly, we forget that reality way too often. Section 1. The co-sleeping trend in modern parenting. To really understand this debate, we have to look at the world modern parents are living in right now. I mean, you've probably heard phrases like this 1,000 times online. Humans have slept together for thousands of years. Influencers will straight up tell you that sleeping with your baby is the only natural, acceptable choice out there. And look, to be fair, they aren't entirely wrong. Babies crave closeness. They absolutely need physical comfort. But this advice, it's really only telling half the story. Which brings us to a crucial paradigm shift. Yes, we have the child's undeniable need for closeness, comfort, and connection. But what about the other side of the equation? The side that gets completely ignored by a lot of modern parenting advice. What about the parents? What about their need for actual restorative sleep, their need for personal space, the health of their relationship? We literally have to look at the whole picture here, not just one side of the scale. Section 2. Hidden costs and personal boundaries.
You know, every single person needs boundaries, and that definitely includes children. Kids aren't born just automatically understanding personal space. It's something they have to learn over time. They learn that certain things are theirs, like their room, their bed, their toys. But they also need to learn that mom and dad have their own space too. Teaching a child that their parents have a space that belongs just to them isn't mean or cruel. Actually, it's a fundamental part of growing up. Respecting those early boundaries at home is the foundation for respecting other people's boundaries out in the real world.
But man, teaching those boundaries can be tough, especially when you fall into this incredibly predictable habit loop. Just picture it. Step 1, the child wakes up. Step 2, they wander into the parents' room. Step 3, they climb into bed. And step 4, boom, nobody sleeps. The kid suddenly turns into a starfish, mom is waking up every 10 minutes because she's getting kicked in the ribs, and dad is literally clinging to the edge of the mattress for dear life. Everyone is completely exhausted, but the pattern just keeps happening because fixing it at 3 a.m. just feels way too overwhelming.
And that right there is exactly why giving in occasionally or trying to change the rules without a firm plan just doesn't work. Kids are smart. They figure out the household rules so fast. But if those rules change every night, like Monday they're allowed in the bed, Tuesday they aren't, Wednesday they are again, they just get totally confused. Children thrive, absolutely thrive, when expectations are clear and predictable. When it comes to sleep, consistency is the whole ballgame.
Section 3. Overcoming guilt and parental pressure. If you talk to any mother struggling with this, you almost always uncover this heavy, invisible fear. They think, if my baby sleeps separately, are they going to feel less loved? If I don't hold my child all night long, does that make me a bad mother? Let me tell you, this fear is so real and so visceral, and it is the exact thing preventing so many families from getting the sleep routines they desperately need just to function. Well, the answer to that fear is a massive, resounding no. We really need to let this sink in. Love is not measured by the number of hours you spend sharing a mattress. A loving parent doesn't magically stop being a loving parent just because their kid is sleeping safely in their own bed down the hall. Of course, children need affection, comfort, and attention, but true, deep, emotional connection, that is built during the day. It's built through active interaction, talking, playing, showing kindness, and building trust. You build that unbreakable bond while the sun is up. You absolutely do not need to sacrifice your sleep and your sanity at night just to prove that you love your child. Section 4. Handling nighttime fears and overcoming the dark. Now, what about when a kid who usually sleeps totally fine on their own suddenly becomes terrified of sleeping alone? These fears, whether it's the darkness, the classic monster under the bed, or just a sudden spike in separation anxiety, they are very, very real to the child, and we absolutely have to acknowledge those feelings. But here's the catch. Acknowledging their fear doesn't mean you automatically blow up all your boundaries and move them permanently back into your bed. Instead of abandoning the rules, we need to lean on actual actionable strategies. Kids actually build lasting confidence when parents calmly support them while still holding those healthy boundaries. Consistency, gentle reassurance, having a rock-solid bedtime routine, and maintaining good sleep habits, these things help a child conquer their fears so much faster and way more securely than if we just keep changing the rules out of pity or pure exhaustion.
Section 5. Happy parents and the family dynamic.
At the end of the day, every family has to make their own call here. Some families co-sleep and they genuinely feel happy, rested, and connected. Other families prefer separate bedrooms from day one. The key isn't to blindly follow whatever internet trend is popular this week. It's to sit down and honestly ask yourself, is this arrangement working for everyone? And I mean everyone. Not just the kid, not just mom, not just dad. Everyone. Because a family functions best when everyone gets what they need. When parents are just chronically exhausted, sleep-deprived, frustrated, and disconnected from each other, the whole family feels the consequences. The truth is, children do not need perfect parents. They need happy parents. And building a happy family, that starts with healthy boundaries, mutual respect, and honestly, a good night's sleep for everybody. So I want to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. Whether you're expecting a baby right now or you're currently deep in the trenches of midnight bedtime battles, think about the long game. Deciding where your child sleeps isn't just about surviving tonight. The choices you're making right now are shaping the habits, the routines, and the exact dynamics your family is going to live with for years to come. Choose the setup that lets your entire family thrive. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, here's to a really good night's sleep for all of you.